Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Something Suddenly Came Up, a retro review. I'm Leanne, and this is my big sis, the Groovy Granny. And as always, we are chatting about all things 60s, 70s, and 80s pop culture. And this one was definitely a trend and a phenomenon in the 70s, right?
Yes. So we want you to buckle up, put
Yeah.
your belt on, put your life vest on,
Yes.
get your big fire truck out front
Uh-huh.
because we are going to the 1970s disaster movies.
It was such a trend because let's think about the 70s. The cool thing about the 70s is we had all these great new stars, but there were still the stars of yesteryear. They still had their chops. They were still showing up on every variety show. And that's the other thing. The variety show is so big in the 70s that why not a variety show movie? I mean, right? This essentially is people from all walks of Hollywood, the up-to-date stars, the stars of yesteryear. Some were singers, tappers, and they're all starring in these disaster movies together.
And what's interesting is the really early disaster movies, the ones that I think we're going to be talking about, were also quality actors
Right.
that
Yes.
were in
Oh,
these
yeah.
movies. I mean, like
Yeah.
Academy Award winning actors and
Right.
actresses.
Right.
And I think all three of the one, maybe just two of the three that I'm doing, were also nominated for Best Picture,
Oh, I could
which
picture that.
almost
Yeah.
never happens nowadays on those
Right.
multi-star movies. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right. Well, because these weren't, now maybe they were unintentionally campy. Like nowadays, we might see them and be like, oh, good gravy. But at the time, they were like, we're pulling out the heavy hitters,
heavy hitters. Yeah.
right? And it
Yeah.
was really, and back then, of course, when you didn't have streaming services and so many options, you were going to go to the movie theater to see these because they were larger than life. They were just blockbusters, and you had more stars, more bang for your buck,
Yes,
for
yes,
sure.
for sure. And it's definitely a genre that's separate from what you would maybe deem as like a, a borderline horror movie where,
Oh, yes.
like we talked about the other day, there were some where, it's called, there was like ants and
Frogs.
arachnophobia and
Yeah.
frogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Not like that. That goes kind of a little bit over that line of camp, but
Right,
I don't know.
right.
Maybe did you go there?
I did not go to that campy side, but one of the things on my list that more is an honorable mention one, it was very much handled as a disaster film, not a, not one of those campy, what do you call it when it's like King Kong or something or
Yeah,
Godzilla or like you
yeah.
said, yeah, killer whatever. But there's one on my list that definitely is considered a disaster movie of that 70s genre, but it probably dips a toe over into what you were just talking about.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, well, shall we dive right in?
I believe we shall.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you start.
Okay, and I only did three. Did you
Right.
only do
We're
three?
going to
Okay,
do three just because we thought we might choose the same things if we did more than
true,
three. But
true.
I've got a lot of honorable mentions, and I'm sure there's people
Okay,
at home
yeah.
already shouting at our channel like, "Hey, what about this?" So,
So I'm
okay.
going to start right off with which certainly for me was the first disaster movie I ever saw, and I think it might have been the first of the kind. And that was Airport. Now, there was a spoof done later called Airplane. The spoofs were funny too, but this was the serious movie Airport. And it really had some heavy hitter actors. Burt Lancaster, Dean Martin, George Kennedy.
Dean Martin as a pilot. Could we just say
Dean
that?
Martin as a
Who would
pilot. I
let
hope
Dean
he
Martin
wasn't,
fly a plane,
doing the
right?
nip nip. No nickel nips.
Yeah, it had Jacqueline
Yes,
Bissett. It
Jacqueline
had
Bisset's so beautiful. Gene
oh my gosh,
Sebring.
yes, yes.
And Fred Astaire, or no,
Yeah.
not Fred wasn't in this. This was the
No, not this one.
Van Heflin.
Yep,
He
Van
actually
Heflin.
played the bad guy in it.
That's
And
right.
what's the little old lady's name? Was it
Oh,
Helen
Helen
Hayes?
Hayes. Helen
Yes.
Hayes has a funny little part as a stowaway, and they're like lecturing her about you shouldn't
Yes.
be a stowaway, and they get her all set to be sent home, and she pops on the flight that gets,
Yes.
doomed. But
Yes.
the interesting thing about airport is, and I'm going to my notes because I was remembering this from my kid brain, it has one, two, there's four installments of airport. So
Yes.
there's the first one that you just said, which was 1970. So it really kicked off that
Yes.
disaster ensemble cast genre. Um, but there's and I hope I'm not taking any of yours with this, but there's Airport 75, Airport 77, and Airport 79.
I didn't know
And
there was a 79. I knew about 75 and
79 is
77.
extremely cheesy. There's a
Yeah.
Concorde, and the thing that all of these have in common is Mr. George Kennedy, who, if you've seen Cool Hand Luke, in that he plays a jerk, correct? He's like a total jerk in that movie.
Kind of. He's a
Sort of
lovable jerk.
a lovable jerk. Okay.
Yeah.
But in this, he is the go-to guy. He's the working man's man. But an interesting thing about the story arc of George Kennedy's character, he's the only person that's in all the airplane movies
Oh,
as
okay.
Joe Petroni. And in the first one, remember, there's a big snowstorm, and Burt Lancaster calls him. And Joe Petroni's on the couch making out with his wife, and yeah, they just
I
got
remember
all
that part.
I know. They just got all five kids put to bed. So he picks up the phone and he's like, this better be good. And so Burt Lancaster calls him in because he is the chief mechanic at
Yes.
the airport. Now, in Airport 75, the second installment, he's moved up to vice president of operations. And then in Airport 77, he's consulting now for the airport. And then in the Concorde, Airport 79, he is now a captain of the airplane. So
Oh,
not only is there a lot of inconceivable concepts happening in all these movies, but he has really climbed his way up the ladder.
well, the thing I really like about the original Airport is they really did do a lot of character delving
They tried to. They
into
did real
most of the
development.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I guess who you would say was the star was Burt Lancaster, and
Yes.
he was the guy who ran the airport.
Right.
And Dean Martin was the pilot,
Who's his
along with Gary
brother-in-law?
Collins, and I'm forgetting who the third pilot was.
Gary Collins. Yes, for sure.
But anyway,
Yeah, you're right. I'll have to think on
and Dean Martin is married to Burt Lancaster's character's sister,
that.
but he is in love with Jacqueline Bisset. And when the flight takes off, she tells him that she's pregnant with his child. So there's a lot of things involved there. And Van Heflin is the bad guy. He is, one of those people on the edge of bad things happened in his life, and he's starting to lose it. And his wife was the very well acted Maureen Stapleton, who actually was nominated for a Golden Globe. She may have even won a Golden Globe for that particular role.
Yeah, she tries to cut him off at the pass and
Yes, she
get
tries
there
to
and
warn
stop
them.
him. Yeah, they won't believe her. Yeah, you're
And
right.
they actually do. So Helen Hayes, the little stowaway little old lady, is sitting next to him. And
Hmm.
they actually pull her aside and explain to her that if she can help them try to get the briefcase away from him, which has the bomb in it,
Hmm.
they will give her a lifetime pass to fly anywhere she wants to. And
Yeah.
she tries to help. And for the most part, she kind of does. But Van Heflin takes the suitcase into the restroom and explodes it. And so it then becomes them trying to get the plane landed before other people are hurt. And Jacqueline Bisset, who Dean Martin is in love with, was injured in the explosion. And so that's like a big part of it. And one of the guys, I can't remember, he used to be on the show, The Untouchables or the FBI, one of those. He's a doctor on the plane who's trying to help treat the injured. And it's a very, very good film. Watching it as a child, of course, you're traumatized by the whole thing. Like, I'll never forget when it's Jacqueline Bisset who takes the a large brunt of the explosion. You're like, oh no,
Right.
she's going to have a baby.
Yes.
Even as
Yes.
a young girl, I realized that was the major problem there.
Right. Right. And it's interesting because Dean Martin's wife is played by Barbara Hale, who's Perry Mason's secretary, Ella
Yes.
Street.
Yes.
So there's just everybody's somebody in this movie.
Yes.
Everybody
Yes.
when you see them. And yeah, and like you said, they try to really flesh out these characters, even though it's such a big ensemble cast. And they give you the backstory like so quickly. Like when Dean Martin gets dropped off at the airport by his wife, her brother, played by Burt Lancaster, leans
Yes.
in like, why do you put up with him? And she said, she knows he's a cheater. She's like, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, he'll flash his wedding ring and come home to me or whatever. And there's just a lot of little nuances there that you're like,
Yeah.
interesting. And
Kind
the
of a
Burt
sad
Lancaster has
exception
problems.
of she accepts what he is, I guess,
Yeah, yeah.
or I don't know. Things again, a time that was different where you hope
Yes.
nowadays women wouldn't put up with that
Right.
anymore. But
Right. Right. And then yeah, I think
well,
it's
Burt Lancaster's character was also about either having an affair or about to have an
I
affair
think
with
he
Gene
did not.
Sebring.
Yeah, he was thinking about it. They were both really on the up and up. They're both very good people, but we see his wife really pushing him because she wants him to be in her father's business. And so he doesn't
Hmm.
have to fly so much. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of friction there on the phone. And you see that in a very short amount of time on the phone.
And
Unlike
George Kennedy's role is very important because there's an abandoned aircraft on the longest runway. And they need George Kennedy to get that airplane off of there because the one that they're all on that's trying to land needs a longer runway to hopefully make it without rolling and flipping and all that kind of thing. And
right.
so it's very nervous whether he's going to get it off there. And he does, of course.
Yeah, that's why he comes back in every movie because Joe Patroni's on the job. But yeah, the beginning is so funny. I rewatched it honestly, and I forgot that first scene with the wife. And he's like, "This better be good."
Remember that at all. That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, no, Airport I think really does kick it off. And honestly, it was my number one, only because it really is the first of the genre
It
I
is.
feel
It
like.
is.
But strangely not my, I guess I'm gonna wait and do it in order, but strangely it's not my favorite airport, even though, like I said, I love everything about it. I love George Kennedy, I love Burt Lancaster. Burt Lancaster is one of those solid actors that I don't know if people today really know much about and
Yeah.
remember him as well, but just a solid guy. He's a good
And
actor.
in his prime in so many things. He was in
Right,
a lot of movies at the time. They're
right.
always very well acted. From Here to Eternity is one that always comes to mind.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
he was
Mom, he was one of
definitely,
our mom's favorite for sure.
yes, yes.
Um, my number three is called Earthquake. It also
Mhm.
has George Kennedy, and why wouldn't it? Because he's in a lot of these, and he's also saving the day. But anyway, the premier character in Earthquake is Charlton Heston, who shows up in a lot of these
Yes, he
disaster
does.
movies. Charlton Heston is a very accomplished actor as well. And you can picture by the 70s, he's already done a lot of work. He's been in Ben-Hur, all those famous
For the
movies
apes.
already. Yeah, Planet of the Apes, I think, was in the 60s, right? So he had already done it by
Yes,
then,
late
maybe.
60s, I think.
Um, and so, he is working for, I think he's an architect that works for the city. And we see back at the seismology lab, this guy who seems very new telling them, Sir, I've seen these unusual waves that I think we're going to have an earthquake. And the boss is like, oh, kid, what do you know? And so, of course, he's right. But the main character is Charlton Heston. And then they trotted out for this movie Miss Ava Gardner,
Yes, they did.
who by then was in her 50s, I would say. And let's be honest, being in your 50s was different then. She looked beautiful, but she looked older. I mean, she looked like she was in her, for that time in her 50s. And then Lauren Green, who was only 9 years older than her, played her father. which I thought was really interesting.
Kind of like Miss Ellie and JR. They were only like less than 10 years
Yes, yes.
apart.
So we have another plot where Charlton Heston is a bit of the long-suffering husband, and Ava Gardner's kind of a brat, and she wants him to work for her dad's company. And so there's a lot of that push-pull. And then he's got his eye on French actress Genevieve Bujold, who
Mm-hmm.
is a lady that lost her husband, and for some reason he's been going over helping her with her child, and he's all above board again. We're just, he's trying to make it work with Ava Gardner. But in the midst of all this, we have George Kennedy as a cop who's getting a little disillusioned from just how crummy the streets are and etc. But when all this goes down, of course, he jumps in to take over and help save the day. And he and Charlton Heston inadvertently meet to help save the day. But so many people in it. Richard Roundtree, who most people know as Shaft,
Mm.
is in it. A
You're
young,
damn right.
yeah, you're damn straight. He was great in it, and Victoria Principal, very young, our favorite from Dallas,
Very
and
young.
she
Short curly hair, which is very
she had a
unusual for
head of
her.
the curls like our
Yes,
Aunt
she
Marianne
did.
did. Yeah.
Yes.
That was popular in the 70s, the head of
Hmm.
curls like that. And she has like a very inadvertently sweet scene with George Kennedy where everything's going to hell in the city, and Charlton Heston and George Kennedy are trying to pick up, injured people off the street and get them to safety. And this guy played by, do you remember Marjo Gortner?
Vaguely, yes. What he was in a series of movies, wasn't he? I don't remember what they were called.
He's kind of a guy that if you see him, like if he popped up on Fantasy Island or something, you'd be like,
Yeah,
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 I know this
yeah.
guy. He kind of has a look, um, he looks a little bit to me like a kind of little rougher version of like Matthew McConaughey or somebody. So he's got curls, and anyway, he popped up in this movie and he plays a guy with terrible PTSD, honestly, but he ends
Mm.
up going a little around the bend, and he goes, the world's kind of going to hell in a handbasket, and he goes after Victoria Principal in an inappropriate way, shall I say, kids at
Oh
home.
dear.
And George Kennedy goes after him and shoots him. But anyway, and then after that, to make Victoria Principal feel better because she almost just had a bad thing happen to her, George Kennedy in the rubble finds this perfectly pristine white poodle that pops out like, "Hi, everybody." And he hands
Oh,
it to her to make her feel better.
that's George, right?
I
Right.
know, I know. So for the rest of the movie, she's like, is Sergeant so and so okay? And they, see each other at the end. But anyway, very sweet moment. A little implausible, I guess, but maybe not. I mean, there could be a white poodle out still perfectly white.
Refresh my memory. I saw this movie at the time in the
Oh my
theater, but
gosh.
I
So
don't
yeah,
believe I've seen it since. Was it in San Francisco?
I do
Do they
not
ever
remember.
say?
I don't know if they say it was definitely in California, but I don't know if they say San Francisco per se. But I actually looked up because they destroyed a lot of houses and destroyed a lot of
Hmm.
buildings. And I actually looked up were these sets. And they said a lot of it was sets and some of it was old footage. And I'm sorry I didn't write it down, but it was filmed with some kind of thing called Sensa, something that made you feel like you were getting shaken and rumbled in
Do
the
remember
theater.
that in the theater. Yeah, I
Mhm.
do remember that.
Yeah. So they didn't film any other films much that way after that, although I guess there wouldn't be any cause for it except in an earthquake movie, right? Um, but yeah, it was so well acted. Again, they just ran with their parts, but it does make me laugh because you get a lady like Ava Gardner, and she's used to playing it a certain way, right? So when she's mad, she's mad. And when she's happy, she's happy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's
The
a
old way
very,
of
yes,
which sometimes I prefer, but the
right.
70s was very much more real,
More
raw
raw,
act.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So I really enjoyed it. I mean, I always watch old movies when I'm on the elliptical doing my cardio.
Yeah.
And that one, I was like, I don't know if I saw this all the way through. And always Charlton Heston plays the stand-up guy trying to do the right thing. And even his crummy wife, she fell in the water that, because the pipes broke or the dam broke because of the earthquake. And he gave up the lady he's thinks is great to swim after the wife, but damn it, she's gone. So too
Ugh,
bad. Too bad.
Hi, Ava.
But he tried. He tried. And so we got to know he is a good guy. Just
Right.
but that's my number three, Earthquake, and it has the George Kennedy seal of approval on
Yeah, George. Get it,
it.
George.
Oh my gosh.
Well, my number two is the Towering Inferno.
Oh, girl, same. Same.
Okay, we were on the wavelength. That movie upset me terribly.
It's a nerve-wracking
I
movie.
remember, was it 74, 1974?
I believe so. Why didn't I write that number down? Yeah,
I
I think
I
so. I'm
didn't
gonna look that
either.
up. Talk
I
some
think it was
yourselves.
74. It had my gorgeous hunky
Oh,
hunk Paul Newman in it.
oh, girl,
It
and Steve
also
McQueen.
it also had another hunky hunk of Steve McQueen, and it had like
1974, yes.
okay, it had Faye Dunaway. It had William Holden in
There's a
it.
classic actor.
Yes,
Oh gosh, he's got acting chops. He did well in that. I thought
yes, he
he
did.
still's the old Hollywood
He's
way, but
he's
he's
kind of a character that you hate at first, and then you begin to feel sorry for him a little
right.
bit. He was sort of victimized by his son-in-law, played by Richard Chamberlain, also a very good actor,
Mhm.
and little Fred Astaire is in it, and I was always so well. Don't let Fred Astaire die.
Oh God, I know, right?
Robert Wagner was in it.
Oh,
O.J. Simpson was in
yeah.
it.
Yes.
Little Bobby from the Brady Bunch was in it.
Yes. Yes. Who was
Yes,
the blonde lady in that movie?
Deborah
I'm
Raffin.
yes, Deborah Raffin. Deborah
Yeah,
Raffin was in it. She's a 70s standby that always
yes,
comes
she
around.
is.
Deborah
She was
Raffin.
in a
She's
lot of
good.
things.
She's good. I like
She is
Deborah
good.
Raffin
I
back
liked
in
her
the
too.
day.
She started out as a model
Yeah,
and
yes.
an actress.
And the
Um,
premise, you guys, is they built this skyscraper and they built it a little too tall. They built it to specifications, but there was some unknown about the structural integrity, let's say,
yes,
right? Because we had the bad
the
son-in-law or whatever
son-in-law,
trying to cut
right?
some
Cut
corners,
corners.
perhaps.
Hmm.
And then when some accidental thing happens with the, electrical and some fires break out. Isn't that correct? Isn't that pretty much how
Yes,
it goes down?
I forget. It was they were working on some electrical, and there was a
Yeah,
spark, and it caught all the rags and everything on fire.
right.
And oddly enough, that I guess whatever safety precautions and sprinkler systems and things of the time that they had to put fires out just didn't contain it. And
Right.
because things were built poorly, and poor Paul Newman played the architect of the building. And so
Right.
he was getting a little bit of blame for it, not knowing that corners had been cut that he had nothing
Right.
to do with.
Right. And it was
And
Steve McQueen, the fire
he was the
marshal.
fire chief.
Yes.
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 Yes. And Fred Astaire plays a little guy who
Oh,
he's trying to actually help
yeah.
rescue people. And there's a deaf lady with a little son who's Bobby Brady,
Yes. Yes, he is. Mike Looking Land.
and the
That's right.
neighbor lady who looks after them. And
Hmm.
she's played by Jennifer Jones,
That,
also a
yes,
very fine
classic.
actress.
And she
Yeah.
and Fred take a little shine to each other, right?
Yes, they do. Fred gets a little crush on her, and
Hmm.
they're trying to get these people out of the really high floors. It's probably something that I bet they may not show this movie much anymore, because I'm sure it traumatizes people about
Right.
um, the 9/11 incident, quite
Right.
frankly. I mean,
Right.
obviously that was an even taller building than
Right.
that's in this movie.
Right.
But I can remember very clearly Steve McQueen saying, "Don't build them over 8 floors. We can't get you over 8 floors."
There you have it.
And that was the truth.
Well, we're making it sound, we're telling the star side of it, but it's a nail biter.
It is an
Like you're
absolute
not
nail
comfortably
biter.
watching this movie like, oh God, when is Steve McQueen going to take care of this fire? It's a nail biter. The
And they show
whole
some
movie.
yeah, they show some very unpleasant things. Like poor Robert Wagner is tries to he's long story short, he's having an affair with Susan Flannery, who is also in this movie, and they're stuck in an office, and he says he's going to go try to get help. and he goes out and catches fire and falls out the window, which, when you're a
I,
young kid, that you're a teenager,
yeah, yes,
very
yes.
traumatic, very, very
Yes,
traumatic.
it is a nail biter, this entire movie. But again, what legitimate acting and what a legitimate cast. And I think that's really what separates it from what we might think of like disaster movies now. It is not, first of all, you have a packed cast. You think you've seen
Yes,
one star and then four more come out. There's that. And all of them are not acting like, oh, I have a 14th part in a budget pick. They are acting, what do they say? Play to the balcony. They are
yes,
acting, you know what I mean? It's
yes.
just a different time. It really is.
And there's an interesting irony. I don't know what I can say and what I can't say on YouTube sometimes, but at the time that the fire begins, the very top floor is a restaurant, a,
Mm-hmm,
a,
mm-hmm.
a place where you can have a big party or something like that.
Yes.
And there was a party going on. So
Mhm.
all the main characters, Faye Dunaway, William Holden, Richard Chamberlain, even
Mhm,
Paul Newman was up
mhm.
there at the beginning,
Right.
are on the very tallest floor. And
They
it
are.
very much reminds me of the horrible incident that we referred this to, and how there was a large meeting in the
Yeah.
restaurant on the very top
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so the end is interesting because all the people who you very much don't want to die, you don't want any of them to die, but Paul Newman, Steve
Mhm.
McQueen sacrifices himself
He
to do
does.
the main deed. Fred Astaire is one of the ones up there, and William Holden, and the mayor of the town. They
Mhm.
have to literally tie themselves to these poles because they're going to release the very large water tanks at the top of the building to try to put the fire out. But
Right.
they know they could easily get
Get
washed.
washed off the side. Yeah.
Yes. And
Hmm.
so some of them do, I won't say who, but
Hmm.
not Fred Astaire, luckily.
Look, as long as Fred Astaire's okay.
Fred Astaire and Paul Newman were okay.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
very, very intense movie. And
it
if you
is.
can't take that, don't watch it. But if you
Right.
want to
That's the
watch,
spoiler.
something that's going to grip you like this and some very fine acting, I highly recommend it.
Yeah. And I think I mean I don't really know per se what the fascination was with the disaster movies, why the 70s had this genre. Do you? Because
No,
I mean, really, like we're talking about the terrible things that have happened more of recent years. We didn't, I mean, we weren't really,
there were some
thank God, exposed to
mistakes, but
much of that.
nothing to the extent of what that movie
Right,
portrayed.
right, right, for
Horrible
sure.
things, but nothing
Yeah.
to that extent. And you always hope it's not predictory, or how what the right
Yeah, yeah,
word.
yeah. Yes, yes.
And airport, there's been a lot of terrible plane crashes for
Right.
sure.
So that kind of tracked. I mean, that kind of made sense. And I guess really if Airport's the first of its kind and they saw, hey, that ensemble cast, we ate
Mhm.
that up, and they liked the harrowing adventure
Yes.
and, it kind of makes sense. But
And they
yeah, so
probably knew. So I'm sorry,
no,
Liz.
you go ahead.
I was just going to say they probably knew it would be a blockbuster too, because
Yeah.
I'm imagining they had to put out a lot of money for all these big
Oh
stars.
my gosh. Can you
You know,
imagine?
they must have
Newman
had
and
to.
McQueen by themselves.
Yes, yes.
Jeez. Yeah. I hope Fred Astaire held out for some big cash.
I hope they did too. I'm trying to think about Fred Astaire and all the wonderful movies that he was in, and all the amazing dancing and everything. Towering Inferno is the only movie he was nominated for an Academy Award.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. I don't think he won, though,
Wow. That's
unfortunately.
interesting to know. That's an
Yeah.
interesting tidbit. Well, I also had Towering Inferno as my number two.
I love that.
So I added my 2 cents there, and you really just you can't go wrong with that. I mean, it's a perfect movie in a way of its type
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
It gripped you greatly. And I think, didn't they use a small scale building for the exterior shots and then made it larger, if
I
I'm
think they would
remembering
have
correctly?
to. I think they
Yeah.
would have to because there's no way to build that as a set.
I
There's
wouldn't
no
think
way.
so, no, and then you
There's
wouldn't want
no
to destroy a big
Mm-mm.
glass
It
building
wouldn't
like
be worth it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But that's a pretty perfect movie for this genre for sure.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh. Well, I'm gonna let you skip ahead to your one because I concur on that Towering Inferno as number two.
Okay. Well, my number 1 is the Poseidon Adventure.
Oh yeah. Now, this is where I feel like we're getting on towards camp. Something about the acting in the Poseidon Adventure, heavy hitters, again, don't get me wrong. You say your piece first, and I'm gonna add on to it.
Well, that one's my favorite for
Okay.
whatever reason. That one's my favorite. I think that one affected me the most because I did feel like, again, you got to know the characters. I feel like it came before Towering Inferno. So it was like, even though I had seen Airport in 1970, this was like, the next one to come along that where I was of an age to really kind of be
Right. Right.
kind of traumatized for it by it. But it starred Gene Hackman, heavy hitting actor for sure. And he was
Mhm.
really good in that movie.
This is him at the top of his game. I mean,
Yeah.
people can argue, a little later maybe, but no, I think 70s Gene Hackman is top of the game, Gene Hackman.
Yeah. And he
Top by
was in
Doyle
a
days.
lot of things at that time. And Ernest Borgnine was in
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yep.
Stella Stevens. It was Stella Stevens,
Stella
right? Stella
Stevens.
Stevens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Red Buttons
But
was in it.
Shelley Winters.
Shelley Winters and what's the little guy's Jack Albertson was played her
Yes.
husband in it.
Yes.
And Fallon from Dynasty, Pamela
Yeah.
Sue Martin,
Yes.
and the little boy that was in everything in the 70s. I think his last name was Shea, Shea, but I can't think of what his first name was.
He's a brunette with blue eyes.
No, he's blonde.
Oh, oh, yes, yes, got it.
Eric Shea.
Like I said, let's look in real time.
He was a little boy in everything.
Oh my gosh, I gotta know. Now I've got inquiring minds now want to know. Poseidon Adventure. Um, yes, I do know who you mean. 1972 for that, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Let's see this little fella's name. Jack Albertson. Yeah, he was in so many things. Oh, Roddy McDowell. He's
Yes,
actually one of my favorite actors, and I think he doesn't get enough accolades.
he
I know
doesn't.
that's
And
going to
I
sound a little silly, maybe, but I think he's a good actor. I really do.
feel like his acting feels very refined,
Yes,
as a
totally.
lot of British actors do, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
yes. I'm putting kid in. Sorry, guys, but I have to know.
That's okay.
Eric Shea, you're right. Eric
Eric,
Shea.
okay, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he was in a few Disney movies and,
Yes,
and things,
yes,
like the Witch Mountain one, I think he might have been in.
yes.
Yours, Mine, and Ours with
Oh,
Lucille Ball,
yeah.
he was
hmm
in.
He's so cute. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But basically, the premise of the Poseidon Adventure is it's a luxury liner
Mhm.
ship, and there's is it a tsunami that comes? It's like a huge wave.
Yes,
So I guess that
it
would be a
is. It
tsunami.
is. Yes.
It literally rolls the boat completely over, and
Yeah.
it's New Year's Eve, so they're all in the main
There's music,
ballroom.
bands, musicians, the whole
Yes,
nine. Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
and they
hmm
flip completely over, and so everyone who survived that then has to figure out how to get out.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
there are 2 camps. There's one where, like, I think it's the doctor of the ship,
I think so
because
too.
the main, like, the captain and everything died, who was played by Leslie Nielsen, by
He
the way,
sure was, which
in
is
a
such
in a
a
serious
departure. Yeah.
role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, he did at the beginning. In fact,
yeah,
if
he
you look
did.
back to the Naked Gun series, I think he always played
Well,
serious roles.
Police Squad.
And Police Squad. Yeah, that's Naked Gun.
Police
Yeah,
Story,
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
one that was.
yeah. Yes,
Um,
100%.
yeah, he
Also
was
with
so
George
funny.
Kennedy. This is called 6 Degrees of George
Yeah,
Kennedy.
yeah,
We
we just
found the
created a
link.
new one.
We found the link. Oh my gosh.
But so anyway, Gene Hackman plays a preacher, and he thinks he talks to the little boy who had just been on an extensive um review of the ship with the captain and the first mates and everything. And so he had learned a lot about the ship, and he told the preacher where he thought they could get out. and the preacher said, we're gonna go with this kid, and he got a very small group to go with him because everybody else is like, you're nuts. We're gonna go, of course, with the doctor, who is a member of the ship.
Mhm.
And that was the wrong idea because
Yeah.
unfortunately Gene Hackman was correct, and they lost several people along the way. I won't say who in case you want to watch it. But it is, again, you
Harrowing.
are
Harrowing.
literally
Yeah.
holding your breath the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's
I,
it's
I'm going
very
to say something and you can send the hate mail. I'll get a P.O. box for it. Um, Shelley Winters gets on my last nerve. And I feel like she lends a bit of like camp to things that aren't meant to be campy.
well, she won an Oscar for her role
In the Poseidon
in
Adventure,
the Poseidon Adventure.
God
Oh,
love him.
Gene Hackman didn't. Now, I will say, I think the reason Gene Hackman wasn't nominated for that is he actually won the Oscar that year for The French Connection.
Oh, yes, that's what I just said. That
Yeah,
yeah, it's Popeye Doyle role.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm in the minority, but there's just something about her acting that I'm like, oh, good gravy, that woman.
I kind of
Um,
feel what you're saying. She always play like in A Place in the Sun. I love that movie, but she's the whiny character that
yeah, she's
you're just
always like
like
a complainer.
you're just like, I don't blame,
Yeah,
him for leaving for Elizabeth Taylor, but
yeah, well,
like I would too.
yeah, yeah. No, I know. But yeah, Shelley Winters, that's right. She won an Academy Award for that movie.
Yes,
Interesting.
she did.
That's,
Supporting
yeah,
actress.
yeah. Still, that's pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
think she was, yeah, you're right. She was a complainer in that kind of too. I can't do it. She was very large at that time. Kind of, I think she stayed large after that. I mean, I
Yeah,
love her as Nana
yeah,
Mary on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
She
Yeah,
was
she's
funny
funny on
back
that.
there,
Yeah, yeah.
but that again, same kind of character, but worked in a comedy setting.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
But
Yes,
yeah, but
yes.
there also was a very high top 40 song that came from that movie called "The Morning After" by
Oh, yeah.
Martin McGovern. So it's a good
Yes.
song.
I'm gonna say there's a singer in it because that's part of my recollection of it.
Well, Carol Lindley sings.
Pretended to sing,
Yes,
right? Yes.
yes.
Yes. And did she sing that song? Did she pretend to
She
sing
did
that
sing
song?
that song. Yeah.
Yes, that is what I'm picturing. Is her
Yes.
singing when this went down, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And
God.
her brother was the drummer in her band, and he died.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Red Buttons has to try to talk her into coming with them because she doesn't want to live after that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
both get out. Ooh, I
Yeah.
shouldn't have said that.
You really don't expect a movie with red buttons and and Gene Hackman in the same place, but that's
Exactly.
what
Red
these are
Buttons was
about.
a comedian, really,
Yeah, that's what these are about. These
Mhm.
movies with this ensemble, like I said, variety show feel to it.
I
It's just
have to
a
say,
very
there was
cool
a
thing.
Poseidon Adventure 2 that had some good people in it, Sally Field being one, but it was horrible.
I
I
haven't
couldn't
even
even
seen
get
that
through
one.
it.
Oh my
It was
gosh, I
awful.
haven't even seen that one. Oh wow.
Don't
Yeah.
bother.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna save my ticket money. Anyway, yeah, no, so a great choice. I am gonna go with for my number one. Now, Airport 1970 is the essential. It's the start of it all in my mind, but I'm gonna go with Airport 1975
I
because
know
that
why.
do you know why, really?
I
It
think
has
I do. It has
Charlton
an actress you
Heston
used to love.
and Karen Black. And I think Karen Black is one of those quintessential 70s ladies that
Yes.
if you were a kid or a teen or anything in the 70s and you went to a movie, Karen Black was somehow in there. A lot of people remember her from that campy horror movie called Trilogy of Terror with a little like doll that chases her around, the little, yeah.
Yeah,
And she's a very distinctive look, right?
she does. Very close
Her
eyes.
eyes are close and very blue, and her hair's
Yeah.
kind of curly and dark. But she in Airport 75, a lot of the jokes in Airplane, like they had the nun with the little sick girl, and she's playing her guitar to keep her
Yes.
happy. The little sick girl is Linda Blair.
Linda Blair from The
And
Exorcist.
Helen Reddy from I Am Woman, Hear Me
Yeah.
Roar. She
Yeah.
is singing not that particular song, but on there. And then Gloria Swanson, the
Yes.
classic actress. I'm ready for my close up, Mr. DeMille.
And doesn't she
And
kind of play that same kind
she
of
really
character?
does. I think
Yeah.
that's who she is. And
Yeah.
that's really what I meant when sometimes you get those classic ladies, they're like, I know how to play this part. It's all very well.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she kind of did play it that way, but what serious heavy hitters in that? So essentially, the airplane crashes into another little craft. And Charlton Heston, I believe, is an ex-pilot. So he's down on in not mission control, what do you call it, where pilots go?
Um,
Um, the tower. You guys know what I'm
yeah.
talking about. What
Air
do you call
traffic
it?
control tower.
Yes, air traffic control. And Karen Black, who's a stewardess, she's got to land this plane
And
because
doesn't he fly in a little airplane like beside her to like
he does. He probably does. They're like, he's like,
but wait, does he get
I
on in the plane somehow?
don't recall that part probably, but I know she has to land it with him giving her instructions.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, so that's the most harrowing part. But I
Yes.
believe there's like a hole in the side. I mean, the plane is in bad condition.
Yeah, it hits some little commuter plane or something,
Yes,
doesn't
something
it?
like that. But
Yeah.
again, a lot of that shtick from airplane is in there. Those little fast,
Yes, it
like
is.
the sick girl being transported for her
Yes.
transplant and the nun singing to her, and a lot of those things are in there. And I always have to say if I met somebody, but you were with me when I met Karen Black, weren't you?
I don't think so.
I was at a antique show and Karen Black was there signing autographs because one of my favorite 1970s horror movies is called Burnt Offerings, and
I
that's
was
a
gonna
story for
say she
another
was in
day.
a legit horror movie. Yeah.
Yes, I will talk about it another day, but I went up and I have her autograph from that Burnt Offerings little poster. And she was very polite, nice lady, but very much a genteel star about her.
Oh,
She's not going to yuck it up with you. She's not
yeah.
snobby, but she's got a very genteel old
Class.
Hollywood. I
Classy.
appreciate you supporting me. Oh, thank you so much. For
Oh.
another movie she was in that I remember, it's very hard to watch. It's not a fun movie, but a great acting movie is Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, Jimmy
Oh
Dean.
yeah, with Cher.
Cher, I believe, isn't Meryl Streep in it too?
I don't know about that.
No, no, Dennis is her last name. What's her first
Oh,
name?
Sandy Dennis.
Sandy Dennis. It's all set in one spot. It's like these actors coming. Oh my gosh. But anyway, Karen Black is quite good in it. It's one of Cher's early parts. She's good in it too.
Am I
But
mistaking her? There's a movie called The Eyes of Laura Mars. Is
that's
she in
different.
that?
That's Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway. Okay.
Hmm.
I do get them confused
But
sometimes.
it's that kind of horror. Burnt Offerings, you're not screaming in the balcony. I mean, it's just like subtle.
Subtle horror.
Burnt
Yeah.
Offerings is actually done by Dan Curtis, who did Dark Shadows.
Oh.
And it has Oliver Reed, who again, if you're a 70s
Hmm.
person, you're like, done, I know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is a whole talk, but there was a movement in the 70s where our favorite legitimate old stars did horror movies. And
Yes.
Betty Davis is in Burnt Offerings. And so,
Okay.
I leaned into Karen Black and I was like, you got to work with Betty Davis. And she was in a Hitchcock movie called Family Jewels, I believe it's called,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
with Bruce Stern. And I was like,
That's
you got
right.
to work with Hitch. And she's like, yes, yes, I did. They were both amazing.
Elaborate,
They
please.
were, no, no, she wasn't being off-putting. She would just try, she's very, very polite and very, she tries to keep it together. Like, even though I'm at this armory with antiques and next to me is, Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley or whatever. She's like, and I'm not bashing her, you guys, but she tried to keep it very. Actually, who was near her? I'm pretty sure Eddie Mecca, God rest his soul, was in that room that
If it
day.
was an antique show, it had to be me with you, but I don't
You're like,
know.
how are you at antiques without me?
No. Come on, man.
But yeah, so anyway, I just thought it was cool to meet her. But Airport 75, one of the reasons I chose it is because I always think Charlton Heston can carry, we all know since Ben Hur, he can carry an action movie.
Yes.
Um, but also Karen Black, yes, but also I just knew those quintessential moments from Airplane was in the foundation of this movie.
So refresh me. What did George do in this movie?
Well, he was the VP of operations, so he's on the
Okay.
ground being like, here's how we have to land this plane. Because he had
Now,
already moved up from his other job.
so is Airport 77 the one where they have to land in the water, or was that Karen landing?
Yes. Airport 77 takes place in every 70s kid's worst nightmare, other than quicksand, the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, done.
Remember, in the 70s, we 70s kids were worried about there was a lot of quicksand in shows, and the Bermuda Triangle was a very big problem. And Bigfoot was friend or foe, we didn't know which, but also a problem. I mean, am I wrong?
Funny. Yeah, Bigfoot was talked about.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
yep. And a lot, the Bermuda Triangle was a source of concern. But yeah, no, Airport 77 is the Bermuda Triangle, and and you're right, it crashes into the water,
Okay. And 79 is the Concorde.
the Concorde, which is
Okay.
like a luxury, and now George Kennedy's piloting it.
So
Well,
I only saw the original and then 74. I didn't watch them afterwards. I just
right.
knew from,
Yeah,
commercials and stuff at
yeah,
the
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
So did you see any of the other two?
I did. I
Okay.
did. I did. The Concorde is painful. But I will say 75. I really, it's a tie between us, the first one just called Airport, and then
Yeah.
75, of course. Those two are just brilliant. They really
Yeah.
are. And so
Yeah.
well acted. And again, people just, had a plethora of stars, and everyone was very, very invested in their acting and in the script.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's at my top, Airport 75. But yeah, Karen Black moment. There we go. Have her autograph kicking around here somewhere.
I remember how much you liked her as an actress, so I had a feeling that was going to be up in there for you.
Well, I think it's hard not to be a 70s kid and not know Karen Black or not have
Yeah.
some,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
She was in a lot of like different things at the time. I do have a weird honorable mention.
Okay.
Okay, so my weird honorable mention when I went down this road where I'm like, we've got to talk about 70s disaster movies because there's so, I feel like there were so many. One of them, now it sounds like campy horror, but it's called The Swarm. And it's a legitimate disaster movie. It has Michael Caine, Richard Widmark,
Oh,
Catherine Ross. It has, oh my gosh, Richard Chamberlain. It has, wait for this, Fred McMurray. And the reason I'm putting hard on the Mac is because that's the way Ethel Mertz
the
said
way
it.
Ethel said it.
Um,
Yeah.
and it has Olivia de Havilland.
Oh my
And
goodness.
again, there's a section where Olivia de Havilland and Fred McMurray, obviously not the stars of this, but when they act, she's like, mine, it is a beautiful day out. What I'm hearing a buzzing. You know what I mean? Like there's a very definitive way of acting. And Fred McMurray, still the dad from My Three Sons, is like, what a terrible day for, he's got like a little, anyway, has Slim Pickens.
Of
It
course.
has,
This was in so much then.
oh, but I do have to say, out of all the disaster movies, it was hard to watch. I stuck with it because I'm like, I feel like at this point I'm doing my due diligence for the folks at home. And I was like, I actually rented this off of Amazon for like $2. And I was like, I want my $2 back. It was
Ooh.
Michael Caine is the worst in this. And
Oh,
again, send your hate mail to my address. That's okay.
not a super fan of Michael Caine's either.
Oh my God. All of his lines, happy, sad, or whatever, are delivered just like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. Anyway, Richard Widmark did his best to try to hold it together. He wasn't exactly sure what the plot was. He knew he was the colonel and head of the whatever. They tried to send Richard Chamberlain to save the day, but he's a little milk toasty. You know what I mean? Like
Yes, I
his
do.
persona, and I don't mean that offensively, I just mean his persona's here. It's like, dude, we need you to save the day because
Yeah.
Michael Caine can't do this alone.
You needed Paul Newman or Steve McQueen.
Yes. Henry Fonda showed up to try to help.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my
They did
God.
try to pull them all out of there, didn't
They
they?
tried to pull them all out of there. They really did. But the lead was Michael Caine and Catherine Ross. And oh God, I love her. She's my girl from
I
Stepford
love Catherine
Wives.
Ross.
She's
Yeah.
the girl from Stepford Wives. But here's our first glance of her. She's a doctor in the military. They're inside this military base where all these guys have mysteriously died. We don't know how. And she's a perfect bund. She is the kind of military like pressed skirt with a little thing. And she says her eyes never blink. And she's like, oh, yes, there were 6 men that, something mysterious happened to them. I crawled through the air vent and pulled 3 of the 6 to safety. And it's like she's this big, her hair's perfect. I
And a
was like, you
skirt
didn't
on.
pull anybody to safety. But anyway, and delivered like it was terribly upsetting. But anyway, all that aside, again, they pulled out all the stops. Now, I need to look up his name, but there was a kid, and this was such a 70s moment. His mom and dad and him drove their little Mustang out for a picnic. And the parents, the acting, oh good God. I don't know who they are, but they're just like, come on, Paul, you like sandwiches. Come on, let's set up. And when 1B came out, now keep in mind they're at a picnic. The mother pulls Raid out of the basket and starts to spray over the table until even the father says, hey, that's probably enough. We don't want to hurt the food. And they're going to eat this
Oh
Raid
no.
food. But anyway, so she enrages this 1B. He goes around the corner, and then all of a sudden these bees come and swarm his parents. So being a good 70s kid, even though he's only like 8 or 9, he gets in the Mustang, puts her in gear, and drives into town. He's bees coming off the windshield wipers.
My
But
Lord.
all we 70s kids, we did know how to drive. We did
Yes.
know how to drive.
Like in Bad News Bears, like I bet all those kids could drive.
We didn't. We shouldn't. And hey, another shout out to Liz. She taught
Yeah.
us to drive when we were little kids.
Luckily, we had a long driveway at the
Yeah, it
beach
was on
house.
a country road.
Nobody else there.
But Liz taught us to drive early so that if there was a swarm, we would have gotten away. It would have been fine. But this kid goes honking into the center of town, side swipes Olivia de Havilland's florist shop that she has with Fred McMurray. And car door opens. This kid, he's doing the best acting. He's like sweaty. He can barely speak. And Olivia de Havilland's like, what is wrong, son? She's like no bee sting, hair perfect. But anyway, I digress. This kid then has PTSD and he thinks he sees ginormous bees. But anyway, great little actor. I got to look him up. This movie, you guys, fun. I mean, maybe fun. Like, I feel like it'd be fun to watch at a party. I've never had a drink in my life. I'm not a drinker, but I feel like it'd be a good drinking movie. I think if you're watching at home and maybe, yeah, it's not a fun movie, but it's not Earthquake, Towering Inferno Airport where you're kind of on the edge of your seat, like what's
Yeah,
going to happen?
I've never seen it.
Oh, good God. But it is definitely treated like a disaster movie, not a horror movie, even though
Yeah,
there are gross parts where people just get
yeah,
consumed by
yeah,
bees. And I really do think back in those days, they probably had a stunt man that wore something to get covered by the bees, and then they got
yeah.
the bees
That
off
the
them.
pheromones or whatever
Yeah,
they're called. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Oh,
but
what a
there
bad
are some
song.
moments that I'm like, only a 70s kid, man. He got in that Mustang and said,
So funny.
it's like he knew how to do it. But that is my honorable mention because even though I was saying it's a little bad, it is a funnish watch as long as
Yeah,
you have in mind, there's not going to be a character you're going to be like, oh, this guy's going to save the day. I mean, he does, but not convincing.
well, it's interesting because I felt like there was that fine line between the disaster movies and like Jaws or
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
Bird,
right,
like
right,
that was 60s. But
right,
yeah, I think that humongous ensemble cast is what makes it a
right.
disaster movie as well, you know?
Right. And they had movies like Meteor. And what
Yeah,
is the one, China Syndrome?
yeah.
Those are a little more, China
Yeah,
Syndrome, I think, is very more legit in some ways than some of these, not the first three we named, but some of
yeah.
these. Um, But yeah, I mean, there's like 12, 13. If you go to look them up, there's several movies that fall into that
Yeah, there
category.
was
I've not
also
seen
that
them.
one, what was it called? 2-Minute Warning or
Yes,
something.
that was on there with John Cassavetes, Jenna Rollins,
Yeah.
who were married in real life, by the way.
Uh,
Who were the main characters in that? That was Peter Falk in that?
I didn't see it. Or
Oh, okay.
if I did, I saw it in the theater and I that's the only time. So
Yeah, yeah,
I struggle with those ones that I haven't seen
right,
again at some point
right.
to remember.
Yeah, I think with spoilers going out that these could be triggering to people that have been involved in disasters.
Yeah.
Just to understand that it was very indicative of a time, very much a thing, and very intended, I think, to be well, maybe be a good venue, a good place for that big cast, first of all,
Yeah.
and to be able to do that over the top type of acting, you know?
And I think it was like a bit of a, we're passing the torch kind of thing where
Yeah,
that style acting was coming to an end and the more rawness acting of the 70s was entering.
I think so
And
too.
it is kind of an interesting thing. Plus, it was a great chance for those people to get paid for something again, you know?
And we did and do have so much respect in those days. If we saw an Olivia de Havilland come out, I mean, I'm sure everybody on set was like, "What can I get you?" I don't care if she wants to keep her hair perfect and it's supposed to be an underwater scene. I'll be like, "Keep your hair perfect, girl."
Right,
I think
right.
there was a respect. I think if Ava Gardner wants to pretend to be 30 and Lauren Green's her dad, cool.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And that's not a pandering thing. It's a respect for that golden age of Hollywood.
yeah.
I think that's what made our childhood so amazing is that we still had that we still had those folks around, first of all, but we still had so much respect for them and they still came out and did their thing.
They did. They absolutely did. And you're
Hmm.
right. Sometimes the transition was a little rough between the old way and the new way.
Hmm.
I often prefer the old way.
I
I
know.
think just because the way things were filmed then too. Again, the filming became more realistic looking and the scenes and the sets and, it wasn't as
And
contained as it was back in the old days.
right. And I mean, she's much older. A good example is Gloria Swanson playing in Airport 75. The makeup and the look of Gloria Swanson in 1975 filming, you see that she's an older woman and she's got a very kind of overdone way, but shot in the 40s. I mean, granted, she was younger, but the filming was different. Everything was different. It just looked good. She came up in a day where you had to go a little bit over the top to go do silent films at first.
And things,
So
makeup and everything was different in black and whites.
yes,
You
you
had to have,
had to go over the top with
yeah,
the color. Yeah.
yeah,
It
for
really
sure.
was some of the reason that people had that Jean Harlow type of hair color back then because it looked great in black and white.
Yeah,
Maybe in person
exactly.
it looked like
It
it's
was a good
color.
contrast for,
Yeah, yeah,
didn't blend into the wall.
yeah. But I think these movies really did a good job of integrating the classic actors with the actors of the day and very respectfully so, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think that's really what I love about it is watching them. And also I liked when the swarms, they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that. So the helicopter opens and okay, Richard Chamberlain's going to give it a shot. Let's see who else we have. You know? And it's like and actors like in the 70s, like Bradford Dillman, he's a guy you see, he's a good
Did a
actor
lot of things, but you
did a
can't
lot
really
of
place his name.
things. But yeah, a lot of those type of guys were in these as well. And I
Yeah.
just thought, just a nice ensemble. It was just a different genre. It was a very specific genre.
I
And
think
you
that's
think,
what you said earlier is why I kind of like the Poseidon Adventure, that even though there were only a few women in it, there was Shelley Winters, Carol Lindley,
mhm.
Pamela Sue Martin, who was just, a teenager at the time, and Stella Stevens. They didn't maintain their looks during it. It
Oh
was
no.
they allowed themselves to be filmed looking real rough. And
Right.
Shelley Winters being so overweight, she's swimming underwater showing her underpants and everything,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's really what would be happening,
I will say this for Ava Gardner, when the dam broke and all the water swept in, she let her hair get super soaked. She went in the
Okay.
water.
Good
It was
for you.
just
I don't
Olivia de
know.
Havilland in the Storm that was like, and maybe at the end she gets. I didn't really. I wasn't like watching that to the end.
Yeah,
But she might get. I don't know what will happen to her character. Someone at home knows. But I'm just saying the acting style was very different, and the level of
for
respect
sure.
for these actors as they're filming them, you could see is a little different.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you kind of hope so. And,
Yeah, yeah, for
you know,
sure, for
it's
sure.
just one more tick on their little list of
Yeah.
things they've done and probably
Mhm.
made some money
I
at
was
it.
gonna say it probably didn't hurt to get some money because goodness only knows if good old MGM and all those places really paid them what they had coming and
Yeah.
if they're agents at the time, hopefully they had good finances,
I have a feeling the women in particular were not treated well
I
by
think
the
you're
movie
exactly right. I think you're exactly right.
and didn't
Yeah,
get what they deserved, you know?
I agree. I agree. So
And
yeah,
I still like, I don't want any hate for this, but I still would prefer a lot of the actresses just age rather naturally because it's really still the same. You're just these poor ladies are either stretched so tight or have so much filler and everything. They don't look like themselves anyway. And I wouldn't necessarily say they look better.
well, I think there's a level of work that dates you. Type
Yes.
of work that dates you too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, do what makes you feel good, but at the same time, you're not really looking younger. You're just looking different in such a way that most people know it means you got work.
That's what I think. And even one of our favorite girls, Cheryl Ladd, I feel like her work is noticeable. And she's just so pretty and
Yeah.
adorable. I can't believe that if she aged naturally that it wouldn't have looked better.
I can't imagine the pressure though. Can
Oh,
you
I
imagine
know. That's the thing.
under today's scrutiny with, social media and everything? I can't even imagine.
I can't imagine either. And people say such terrible things.
Hmm. Hmm.
Women in particular,
Hmm.
they say such terrible things. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's a disaster all its
that
own.
is a disaster. But I would say, like we said with our spoiler, that if you're triggered by such events, don't
Yeah.
watch. But
Mm.
if you want to see awesome ensemble casts, if you want to just see a snapshot in time of
Yes.
what was popular, I think you should watch at least, I would say, what? Towering Inferno,
Side
Airport,
adventure,
Poseidon
airport.
Adventure. Yeah, and maybe
Maybe even
Earthquake,
Airport 75 because that
75.
that
Yeah.
one was pretty good, I
That
feel
one
like
was quite good,
too.
I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. And then you'll have more fun watching Airplane later because you'll be like, oh, that's where they got it from.
Exactly.
And trust me, one came before the other. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Airplane is very
Oh
funny,
my
and
gosh.
don't call me Shirley.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
That's a joke you'll get once you watch
Yeah.
Airplane.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Oh my gosh. That is
Well,
so
this
funny.
was a good
That's
one.
good. A nice walk down memory lane, little homage to the golden era as well as our
Yes.
favorite 70s time.
And when we
And
all actually had our butts in movie seats to watch them.
yes. Yes. And here's the thing, like I said, I got to go back for the word. Maybe I'll put it in the comments, guys. So when you watch this, I'll try to put it in the comments with that sense around or whatever that was they did
Yeah.
for Earthquake. You don't get that at home.
No.
So in the theater, you got some kind of vibe, literally, that made you feel like you were there, and that's cool.
Wasn't there another one that was like called Roller Coaster or something, and it did
Yes,
that same
yes,
thing?
that's in that genre too. There were
Yeah.
only like three movies that used that synth surround effect.
Yeah. I wonder if
There
people
is a
like
roller coaster one.
got
Yes.
sick from it or it
Well,
got injured or something.
it probably doesn't lend itself to too many types of movies,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too, for sure.
right? I mean, yeah. But anyway, such a cool time. And comment below if you remember watching any of these, if you saw them in the theater, if you know that word, sense around or whatever it is that they filmed Earthquake in, and if
Yeah.
you were in the theater and felt that, if you participated in that, felt that, right?
Yeah.
And also name your favorite star from these classic disaster movies.
Yes.
I would like to hear that for
I
sure,
would
and which
too.
one you like the most. And yeah, and watch them with that, with us giving that little side note. Watch them if you'd like to. They're long movies. So yeah.
For the youngsters, what do you call it? Not the graphics, but you know what I mean. The special effects
Oh,
are very
yes.
different than they
Right.
are
They're
today.
still CGI. Yeah.
Right. I feel
But
it's a little bit better and maybe even a little more realistic at times, but just fair warning, it's
but that being said, God bless them, there were real stuntmen and women doing those stunts.
yes. Yes.
So shout out to them as well, because that was, you can tell. I mean, that a lot of those things were done by real stunt folks. So
Yeah, I sometimes wondered, are stuntmen even around anymore?
I don't know. Well, I think they do have stand-ins just because for liability
Yeah.
purposes. I think most shows probably have
Yeah.
stand-ins, but not because they're jumping or doing anything crazy. I think mostly for probably for liability. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, everybody, as always, like, subscribe, follow, comment, and if you have something you'd like us to cover from our dear era of 60s, 70s, and 80s, give us a little shout, and we appreciate you tuning in as always.
Thank you all so much for the views and everything you guys have done so far. I hope you're enjoying it. We really do.
We are sure enjoying it, that's for sure.
Yes, we are.
All right, peace, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Groovy Granny. Love ya.
Love you too. Bye.